Hi, very good afternoon to you. In this video, we're going to discuss the importance of a language. My name is Darren and I'm the English tutor from EnglishTuition.org. Now let's start this discussion by getting some of the common knowledge out of the way. Now we already know that English is a very important subject in school, whether you're in primary school or your child is in secondary school. Part of the promotion criteria is usually to pass English first, right, before they even look at the other subjects. So if you fail English, it doesn't matter if you score A1s and A2s for all or A stars for all your other subjects, right? You do not make it to the next level, okay, then maybe you have to submit some kind of an appeal and the school will look at your case on a case-by-case basis before they decide whether to let your child to be promoted, right? It's a lot of hassle that hopefully students and parents can avoid, right? Why get into all that hassle in the first place? Why not just pass English and be promoted to the next level? So English in schools is definitely a subject that cannot be avoided. So above the secondary school level, when students want to look at applying courses into tertiary educations like the polytechnics, now many of these courses set the minimum requirement for English to be at least a C6, okay, which is a bare minimum pass in the language. The idea behind that is that they want to ensure that the crop of students that are admitted into their courses have at least achieved basic proficiency in the language so that they can understand the materials that are being taught in class. So if students do not meet these basic requirements for their O-levels, then again they're in trouble, right? You can say they score distinctions in their maths and science and all the other subjects, but at the end of the day, it's up to the school whether they want to admit the student. Again, you have to make an appeal, right, to the student, to the polytechnics, and let them assess on a case-by-case basis and hope for the best, right? Keep your fingers crossed and hope that they admit your child. But in my personal opinion, just by looking at the promotion criteria and the entry requirements is kind of nearsighted, right? I think we need to go further and convince our students that language is here to stay with them, and language is a skill that once you master, it will stay with them and which they can utilize for the rest of their lives. So I sometimes tell my students that not even my students, their parents as well, right? Because sometimes when I give the feedback and that their children are not doing that well in English, some parents become very defensive, right? They say, yeah, they are just not very good in language. But they are very strong in maths and science. They are very good in calculation subjects. And the assumption being, or the implied meaning, is that as long as you are good in maths and science, maybe that's where their focus should be, and they can totally ignore English because after all, once you graduate from O-levels, right, you pass out from O-levels, you do not need to study English as a subject anymore, right? That is the implied meaning, right? Or that may be the message that we are sending to the students, right? Sometimes students, they get these hidden meanings, and because they hate the language or the subject very much. And as a tutor, then that becomes a challenge for me, right? Because my job is to try and convince them that it is worthwhile to take an active interest in the subject, because the skills you master is going to stay with you for a very long time. So the way I do it is to explain to them that first, start by understanding what language is, right? Language is essentially just a medium or tool that we use for communication purposes. Through the use of words, we are able to convey our ideas so that other people can understand us and we can understand other people, right? And language helps us to connect. Now, it is through language that, when we understand the meanings of the words, that we can go to any country and try to understand their culture through the study of language. And countries with very rich heritage and history have particularly rich language. For example, China, right? And if we go there and we try to pick up, the nuances, that are within the language itself, then I think that will give us a lot of interesting insights, as to the culture and the behavior of the people who speak that language. Essentially, what I'm trying to explain to them that language is very much part of us, right? It is a part of being human, okay, and it's something that we cannot ignore or we cannot deny. I also try to explain to them that language has very practical applications in our daily lives. So let's take for example a student is very strong in maths and science. So there's a very strong likelihood that he or she may want to pursue, say, an engineering course, okay, where he can create all kinds of wonderful stuff with his engineering skills. The problem is that when the child goes out into the working world, right, he does not function alone, right? He has to work with people. In other words, he has to learn to connect with other people. And how do we do that? Through the use of language. Now, if you're not strong in language, then think about the kind of challenges that you potentially face when you find yourself in the workplace. So I ask my students, look, if you're not going to be able to comprehend the language well, how do you make sure that when you grow up and get out into the workplace that you're able to comprehend the instructions that are given to you by your bosses well? How do you expect yourself to be able to understand what your customers want? Because what they tell you, you're not able to truly understand the intent behind what they're trying to communicate to you. And they'll look at me and right? Maybe Mr. Chow is talking some sense. Or maybe I'm just talking nonsense, right? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you like this video and would like to participate in future discussions, just head on to my YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel, or you can join our Facebook page and I'll leave the links in the description below. I'll see you around in the next video. Bye.